Welcome to Family Watch, where we bring you Catholic conversations on marriage, parenting, and family life. Welcome to episode 60. Ako po si Pjay Remo ng EduChild Foundation at kasama ko ang aking asawa na si Rhona Remo, isang family life educator.
At Family Watch, we believe that the path to the renewal of society and transformation of the church begins in and through the family by strengthening marriages, empowering parents, and bringing families closer to Christ. Summer na naman, B. No? At personally, bilang isang nanay, summer activities ang mga bata na naman yung nasa isip ko. No? Ano bang dapat nating gawin as a family para continuous pa rin yung learning sa bahay at saka para hindi puro gadgets yung hawak nila?
Oo nga, actually, na-anticipate ko na rin yan na yun nga, puro gadgets na lang, no? Kaya siguro ngayon, napakaswerte natin, no? Kasi we have invited a couple na who can give us some tips on how to build a home literacy ngayong summer.
Okay. Gusto ko yan. Interesting sa akin yung topic na yan. So, let's get going. Allow me to introduce them. Okay. Armand and teacher Tasha have been married for 17 years. They have 4 children with age ranging from 16, 13, 11, and 8 years old. Isang babae, 3 lalaki. Armand is a business group head at Super 8 Retail Systems and an entrepreneur in the field of property management.
Okay. Si Teacher Tasha naman runs her reading center, a center for reading assessment and intervention incorporated. No? She also homeschools yung kanyang youngest na son.
Yeah. And both of them, kahit na very busy in their work, they're actually involved in EduChild in Southridge as course facilitators where their boys begin school.
Okay.
So let's welcome them.
So, Armand and Tasha, welcome to Family Watch. So,
Hi.
hello.
Hello.
Thanks for having us.
We're so excited for this conversation. Kasi for sure, this will help many parents like us para magkaroon ng mga magandang activities at saka continuous yung learning ng mga bata kahit summer. Diba? Okay.
So siguro, bago natin umpisan yung pag-usapan, yung mga tips na bibigay, no? So, ano bang ibig sabihin, Teacher Tasha, nung building a home literacy? Yan.
Yeah.
Gusto ko lang
Building home
malinawan.
literacy. Yan. Kasi in our field, no, I'm in the field of reading education. Yan yung bagong uso. Like in the last 20 years of research, parents have become more involved dun sa reading development ng children nila, which starts from the home. So this is something fascinating then, no, to make families and parents more aware na reading development is not actually just the responsibility of the school. In fact, it starts newborn pa lang ngayon, binabasahan na ng books. That's something that we encourage also from a very young age. Siguro mga 6 months, bagong study. We already do storytelling with them. And then the basis kasi of reading is always language skills. Yan ang foundation. So the stronger the language skills, the better the reading foundation, and then the easier the learning to read. So basically, ang home literacy is preparing your home environment for that in terms of conditioning, set up, the way you communicate with your children and each other, no, in building those language skills so that when they begin to learn to read, they see it in a very positive light, and it's a seamless transition, no, from speaking and listening into the reading skills. So it's being involved, it's communication, it's bonding, it's incidentally for me, it builds good academic skills. For me, incidental na lang yun. But it's really some it's really the communication and the connections formed within the family. So that's home literacy.
Okay, okay, exciting,
Talagang
exciting.
makikita natin na everything starts at home. No?
Yes.
Talagang everything starts at home talaga. Okay, so simulan na natin. Let's go into your tips. Ano ba yung first tip ninyo on how to build home literacy this summer?
Okay. So this summer, we actually thought of introducing some little practices, no, to make parents lang more aware na hindi actually siya hindi one time big time event, no. Let's call it na lang tuning in na let's start this summer, since we're spending more time with the kids, not being zoomed into school, listening and speaking to them on a daily basis, no. Isipin nyo na reading is reading, no? Pag sinabing literacy, academic yan, but actually hindi. When I wake up in the morning and then my son comes to me and says, "Good morning, Mom. Come, let's wake up and let's have breakfast." That's already and paying attention to that is already a big thing for them, because that's listening, right? Ang communication skills and language is listening and speaking. So tuning in and not shutting them out na parang inaatok pa ako. Ganon. Sa akin kasi, it's in my daily conversations with them, whether they're going to do a chore or they're going to tell a story that happened or they're going to even complain or magsusumbong sila about the child. I like to tune in and really listen to it, and really hear them out. You're already building in them attention to language, and your response also needs to be complete. No? Kasi sometimes we're so busy, we tend to say, sige, later na, we'll talk about that. Sa akin, every day, like informally, I always try to tune into what they're thinking and what they're saying. Si Armand is more formal. You pull them out for one-on-one.
Yeah, I'm more of more on the listening side of it. I mean, it's noise. It's really noisy in the house every day. So what she was saying is, you just have to make sure to pay attention to their needs or whatever they're saying. That's the first step. Di ba? You're able to get their attention to communicate. So dun ako sa side na mas listening, because admittedly, I'm not a reader. Going through the topic nga, parang it's kind of off because I'm not a reader myself. But sa bahay siguro, ako yung pinaka hindi nagbabasa. Pero lahat sila nagbabasa. Just going to the topic. So I guess it's not only from the child hanggang siguro adult. Kasi binabasahan pa rin niya ako hanggang ngayon. Si Tasha, binabasahan ako. Bago matulog. Mga kwento, yung mga nababasa niya. So I listen well, di ba? As husbands, we have to listen very well.
Yes.
But he pulls them out to talk to them, to communicate. Like he'll take them for.
Oh, that's I make sure, kasi with my kids, I spend time with them. I'm the one who let's walk, or let's eat, let's bike. Because that's the only time you get to spend time with them. Even if you're at home, we're all busy. I work and they study and they just talk amongst themselves. But yung time that you really get to know them is when you're with them one-on-one. So yung sinasabi niya na I pull them out. In a way enforced, but hopefully that they get to enjoy it as well eventually. Kasi if not, they will just be tuned in the laptop or to the gadgets. So that's one way of yung mga bonding moments namin. Make sure walk, run, bike, eat.
Yeah.
So those are the things that we usually do. Yeah.
So in these daily conversations, this is the time that you tune in to the children and That's very interesting to hear, no? Yung pakikinig pala sa mga anak natin. That's already the base or parang beginning how to have a home na eventually they'll love to read then, no? The very first step is when we listen to our children. Tama ba? Do I
Yes,
get
and
that?
when they listen to us,
Mhm.
they will listen to you if you listen to them. I think that's a interaction that you develop, and then it forms into a culture pag it's always open, no? Because I don't know if there might be some families that don't have teens yet. Pag teens, ang hirap nilang mas mahirap silang kausapin. Mas less spontaneous yung openness, no? Hindi sila masyadong, paano ba yun? They're not very candid about what they're feeling or what they're thinking, unlike the smaller ones, no? So you want to take advantage of connecting with them while they're small, so that you have that foundation na in relationship by the time they become teens.
Habang bata, no? Parang start them young talaga.
Ganun naman.
Na-trigger sa akin, Teacher Tasha, yung sinabi mo kanina, we have to listen to them so that they will listen to us, no? I remember a particular book, parang how to talk to your children. I forgot the title.
So kids can listen, so they can listen.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
How to talk to the children or how to listen to them so that they will talk to you. But that's something that was what that book was saying. You've got to listen to your children so that eventually they will listen to you. Ayan. Is there a particular time to make this meaningful conversations with the children? Kanina minention nyo na si Armand medyo mas formal, he pulled them out to dates. Dapat ba laging ganun? Dapat laging deliberate yung conversations that we have with the children?
Formal.
Well, not really, because when we make it a point, we eat together lunch and dinner. So those are windows wherein we get to talk and get to know them. But yung formal kasi, that's the time that they get to open up when it's one-on-one.
One-on-one's listening.
One-on-one listening. Yung group, siguro you can elaborate with the group. But I just want to share yung experience ko last week when my 11-year-old talked to me. Medyo naughty yun eh. And yung subject nila ngayon, parang sex education. So he asked me about it. So sabi ko, I don't think that's the term, because it's called procreation. With our terms in Paref, kasi that parang when you talk about it, it's for procreation. It's not, kasi siya medyo giggly pa eh, di ba? Parang he was parang kind of making fun of it. But I had to explain it to him while walking. He was tawa-tawa yan, medyo naughty. Pero after a while, okay daddy, sabi niya, I will not call it sex anymore. I will use procreation, sabi niya. So okay. And then when we got home, he said, Sandro, the older guy, I already talked to Dad about procreation with a smirk in his face. So parang may smirk pa rin, diba? Pero parang you have to put it in context eh. Otherwise, baka kasi diba? Yung topic, if mga barkada, diba? Parang okay, mga friends, misinform, it's a very sensitive topic, diba?
So it's an example of like, if you have a relationship with them where they can openly express and communicate, they will ask you the meanings of things first, especially sensitive topics like that, rather than know it from their friends.
Ituloy mo, kasi the other 9-year-old also found about it because they're close the 3 boys eh. And he Googled it. Ikaw yung sinabihan nun, diba? Yung sinabi na, Mommy, what?
He Googled all the terms that the boys would talk about. And then he said, I had to stop because I couldn't understand it. This is, okay, sabi ko, next time, just ask us. You don't have to Google everything. But I think the long and short of it, no, our kids, because they were brought up to be encouraged to express themselves, and they feel comfortable opening up to us, we appreciate that. And again, that's why reading education is something that I love to do. No, it's very aligned with the family life of connecting and communicating. And again, listening and speaking. Let's start with that. With all of them, I think the reading kasi is already when you say fluency, comprehension, reading, everything that is read is also spoken. And when you're reading, you're actually listening to a book, di ba? Everything on print. So parang sa kanila, they know they never had problems with reading, because I purposely developed their love for connecting with people, and the use of language. So basically, that's it. Tuning in, small things. It's a small thing, no, but just to be aware.
Yeah. And that all started with you tuning into them and listening to them as they express themselves. All right. Okay. How about your second tip? What's your second tip for us?
Okay, second tip. This is so common. We find families that read together, no? Yung story time at night. So you'll find mga parenting webinars who say, read to them, bond with them, tell them stories. So that's always mentioned.
Yes.
Pero I would like to rephrase it a bit, no, if I may, and say, read with them and not at them.
What's the difference between the two? Parang halos similar naman na yun.
Oo. Kasi when we read with a child, no, the objective is not to present a book that mommy chose and to finish that book because it's part of the routine and it has to be done. Yun na yun, finish na. I would like to see reading with them as an experience of engagement and enjoyment that is shared with that child, and the book is just your tool. Meaning to say, choose a book that first and foremost will interest the child, not the parent. So kasi may mga parents na they buy so many things, so many books, tapos, or ito yung na-enjoy ko when I was a child, ito yung kailangan mong alamin. No. So,
Pag nakita mo sa list, di ba? Pag nakita mo sa list kung ano yung mga best books, sa parent, yun yung gusto mong bilhin. So, hindi pala dapat ganon.
Hindi. Ako, tinitignan ko yung personality nila. So, imagine, 4 yan ha. Ay, 5. So, titingnan ko yung interest nila, titingnan ko yung language capacity nila, no? And then their background knowledge also. Tapos pag I present the book, I have to connect what they're about to see in the book to what their actual background experience is. No? So I have to introduce the book. This is a book about your favorite animal, right? And the animal has a problem. And we're gonna find out. Okay. Iba yung ganong approach, di ba? Or like, if it's, my kids kasi medyo wide yung interest, no? May mahilig sa history, may mahilig sa food, may mahilig sa, parang there's a lot to choose from, but I start from their interest. I don't start from a reading list that's recommended even by the school. I don't do that. I'm connecting with the child. The child is your subject, not the book. Di ba? Parang ang book is just a platform. Tapos I don't pressure, like ito, short attention span sa book. I don't pressure to finish the book in one sitting. Hindi na may enjoy pag ang objective mo to finish the book, di ba? Eh, everyday naman kayong mag-read. Sabi ko, 5 minutes lang. And if that's just a few pages, basta there was a connection and there was some sort of enjoyment, pwede na, close the book and then go to bed. Di ba? Hindi siya, no pressure, no stress. Because the way they look at a book and a reading experience will be with them up until grade school and high school. And it starts when they're introduced to that routine at night, and it's a pleasurable experience.
So what's more important is the connections that you make when reading, not really finishing the story per se, but more on gano'n, no? Yung I don't know, ako personally, maybe
It's not a task.
what I can relate to this is yung mga bata. There's one book na, ewan ko ba, favorite nila yung book nila. The title of the book is Something Good. And the book is actually about a family going to the grocery. Tapos, kung ano-ano binibili ng mga anak parang gusto ng chocolates, ganyan. Tapos, pagdating na dun sa line ng, not that it's a sugary junk, they kept on laughing. Kaya siguro, now I'm thinking about this, kaya siguro, paulit-ulit, kahit paulit-ulit, memorize na nila yung line, they liked it because, as what you've said, there's an engagement. Engagement with the children, with the story, and maybe they can think, pag nag-grocery, pag nagpipili din sila ng mga food na gusto nila, yun yung mga sinasabi ko na, not that, it's sugary junk.
Yun pala yun.
Yes. Actually, yung sinasabi mo, Mommy Rhona, they're linking what they read in the book to real life, no?
Yes.
And that's your reading comprehension skill when they get to grade school, high school. You're not aware of it, but I am because I studied all of it. And now it all made sense to me. But your platform for reading comprehension is listening comprehension and observation from reality. Diba ang ganda? Na parang at very young ages, wala pa sila masyadong background of anything unlike us adults, diba? But if they recall certain events in real life and then they relate it to a book, there's a fascination in that they like to recall and recall. Or some kids naman, I know your kids are all different, no? Some of them will have a fascination for sound of words. Kaya paulit-ulit yung books minsan. And then we also share in our webinars when we do them as teachers, no? If your child wants to read a book 100 times, then give it and read it with him 100 times. Okay lang yun. They will get tired of it eventually. And explore other interests. Pero don't stop them from doing it over and over. Okay lang yun.
How about ito, question ko. Kasi ako as a mom, napapansin mo, di ba, may caddy tayo sa room. Tapos, finifill ko yung caddy ng different books. Tapos, actually, by the end of the day, we end up not you reading those books I place there. Kasi gusto ko i-rotate yung books. Kasi kagaya nga ng sinabi mo, di ba, they want to read the same book again and again. Ako naman, as a mom, I want them to have other books. So, I make different sets of books. Paano ko? Mali ba ako doon? Or ano ba? I-correct ko ba yung anong gagawin ko?
Tama ka in exposing them. I think you're a very diligent homeschooler also. You have a wide set of interests. And you'd like to present that to them. The intention is good. But if your child, and some children actually will respond to that well. Na parang, okay, what's next? Okay, what's next? But when they're learning to read pa lang, kasi merong point na they read to learn na marunong na mag-read. When they're learning to read, they will choose books naturally that appeal to them in terms of language and pictures. No? Parang hindi pa rin sabihin, basahin mo yan. But if it's too difficult, they're not going to do it. But what I would suggest to parents is if you're going to have your child read books at home and you want them to finish, let's say, a number of books over the summer, have them curate and choose their own selection as you present it to them. So you can say, all right, for this week, tsaka hindi naman sobrang dami. Parang for this week, try and finish 3. And here's 10. Which ones would you like? But also keep in mind that those are the 2 things, diba? 1 is interest, and then 2 is language capacity. But if it's too hard, they're likely to shy away from it and just ask you to read it to them.
Dapat parent-led.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Si Armand also, kasi he's an example, na parang he'll be reading things that he's only interested in.
Very
Buy
few.
books.
No, I was just telling her because our kids, when they get engrossed to something, talagang yun na, doon makikita yung passion for reading, which I didn't have when I was growing up. Sila, for example, our eldest son,
13.
he got interested in Harry Potter. And in what? In 3 weeks, he finished all the books.
All 6
All
books.
6
1
books.
month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grabe, parang N1 eye yun He has an eye disorder. Sabi ko, dahan-dahan lang. Isa lang yung mata mo.
Visually impaired.
Dahan-dahan lang. Baka lumago lalo. So I saw with the kids how their love for reading and how I wish na ganun din ako growing up. Well, that's why I married a reading expert to make sure. So far, so good. So far, so good.
Imagine, a few weeks time, all books of Harry Potter. Ang kakapal ng books na yan. Grabe, di ba?
And he was just like 10 years old at the time. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, our eldest read the Harry Potter books at grade 2. So she was 8.
Wow.
He finished it in one summer. The summer between grade 2 and 3. She finished it. But like, parang I guess it's because I had good mentors, no, who told me what habits to plant between 0 and 6. And I think even if 2 out of the 3 boys have speech and communication delay, and then 2 out of 3 boys have visual impairment, so they're blind in one eye. Parang it never really bothered them in seamlessly learning to read. And then even now,
The Diary of a Wimpy Kid si Diego.
secret mo. By second grade,
youngest,
they were all
youngest.
reading beyond grade level. Okay? But our second grade
Youngest.
our second grade son loves now the Diary of a Wimpy Kid
9-year-old.
series.
Nice.
Okay, so ganun siya. Siya na yung, Mom, can I read to you? Baliktad na eh. I don't read to him anymore. But he'll pull me before he goes to bed. Say, Mom, I'm gonna read to you. Tapos ako parang diary na naman. Sige. Pero kwento mo yung ginawa niya.
Which one?
Oh, he's making his own.
Yeah. Now he's making a chapter book. Parang ang peg niya, Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Nasa chapter 3 na siya. He started to write.
Chapter 5.
Chapter 5 na ba? Chapter 3. So one time he asked for teach me how to type. Sabi niya kay Tasha. Why? I'm going to write my book. Wow, book. Write a book. Tapos yun, he started making a story, a character, and then tuloy-tuloy na.
He's trying to finish a book. But this has nothing to do with his homeschool or nothing to do with any academic work. He just likes to do it. Because of what he reads. Oo. Pero yun ang home literacy. Parang it's in the culture. Okay? Even, let's say, I model to read. He doesn't model to read. But because they use language a lot, they're comfortable with any kind of expression. Just spoken or written.
Wow, that's great. Okay, how about your tip number 3 for us? What's your tip number 3?
Take this is very very common. Let's see if you can replace some of your gadget time with reading time. Hirap.
Wow.
Yan siguro po yung
Mahirap
yan yung
yata
mahirap,
yun,
no? Kahit ako mapapatanong, paano mo?
Pero alam mo kasi, ang
Kahit yung
benefits,
parent ayaw.
yung parent, mahirap talaga. Pero it has to start with us. And then, pero kasi, we see the effects of the gadgets na, di ba, now. Yung ability to tune in and connect to people, to real people outside the computer or the laptop or the video game has to be there. The ability to sustain attention on a task or in social engagement with real people has to be there. Because he always complains nga when there's too much gadget time for our kids, he'll say, ano yung reaction mo? Hello?
Kasi we have a rule that during meals, dapat walang gadget. Tatlo lang naman gawin ba gadget. Siya ako, tsaka yung daughter namin.
We don't give gadgets to our small kids.
Wala pa yung boys
Yeah. So our 13-year-old boy has no gadget except his laptop for school. Pero may video games naman yun. So he's not exactly naman deprived.
So pag meal times, nagdidisobey palagi yung mommy tsaka yung daughter
Ako.
So sabihin ko, Meron na naman.
Si
Otherwise,
Mommy pala.
wala kayong
Hindi,
pag-usapan.
kasi nakwento ko na kay Rhona to. It's so hard when you're talking to somebody, right? And then you have your phone, and then biglang may notification. Parang the person that you're actually talking to, napuputol yung attention mo. And then you withdraw from that conversation and attend to what's on the phone. So that's why we have that rule na sa table, actually, no gadgets and no books. The boys naman, their problems, they bring their
The books
books
on the table.
on the table. And then while people are talking, they're reading while eating. Naka-tune out din. So, yeah, that's something that I think should not start with us. Kaya lagi niya ako pinapagalitan about that. Don't bring your phone on the
Shift
table.
that. How do we shift that gadget time to a reading time?
Okay, their schedule. Okay, so we never force them to read. We never give it as a consequence na if you don't do your chores, sige, mag-read ka ng 30 minutes or like, or we don't also reward with gadget time. We don't reward them with video games time if they do something good or they get high grades, no. But what we do is we infuse it in their schedule.
Oh, so it's part of the routine. So
It's
more or
part
less,
of the
they
routine.
already expecting it. So hindi ka na magsasneak in kasi alam mo meron ka ng time for the gadget.
Oo. So, for example, sige, finish all your schoolwork and submit everything by 3:30, even if it's due at 7 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night.
Finish it.
Just finish it. Then you can do your gadgets from 3:30 to 4:30 or 4 to 5. That's the window. So they look forward to that and they have to finish their work. If they don't finish the work, it's understood na they have to extend and eat into that gadget time. So, yun lang yung rule, di ba? Na follow the schedule. You don't follow the schedule, then you have to give up the time for gadget. It's not a reward. It's not something that's yung parang play all you want. May hangganan siya. And they already got into that routine. And same, I think, it's harder pag summer, no? In summer, we have to really take them out.
Yeah.
And similar to that routine, meron din silang quiet time at night. Kasi parang, ano ba yung schedule natin?
No, kasi we eat at 7:30 and then we pray the rosary at 8:30. So 8 to 8:30, yun, natural yun. After we have dinner, they get their books and they go to the sala and start reading until it's rosary time at 8:30.
So parang it's quiet time.
Quiet time.
You see them, the four of them are in the couch.
Reading.
Reading books.
So they
yeah.
have like
We never had to force them to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, so they have like a gadget time and they also have a quiet time to do this thing. So at least mas regular din for the children. No, that's nice. So
Yeah.
Siguro
They're very
going
balanced, I think.
to-
So they have like their sports
There's
time
balance between the time for gadgets and the time to read.
for reading.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good ano. That's a good tip. Maybe we can
Tsaka,
do that.
tsaka prayer time.
Prayer
Yung prayer
time. We have sports time. Actually, the day is so balanced.
Mhm.
Na everywhere, parang it's naka-program already. And it helps us also. Na ganun yun. Parang 3:30 to 4:30 gadget, 5 merienda, and then 5 to 6 is exercise. So we bike, we run, or we walk. Tapos there's time for taking a bath. Parang naka-program. Naka-program like that.
Hindi, not as rigid
Not
naman.
rigid,
Pero
but
may
there's
guide. There's a guide.
Yeah, there's a sequence. There's a sequence to the day.
All
Oo.
right. How about Teacher Tasha? We're kind of running out of our time. How about your
Sorry.
last tip for us? How to develop home literacy?
Over the summer.
Active.
Yeah. And maybe
Over
sana
the
beyond, right?
Yes.
So a lot of us like to plan trips, di ba? To the beach, go camping in the mountains, or go abroad. But what we're doing differently now, this next week, no, Holy Week, is we're actually going to my mom's province. We're going to Pampanga for the first time. We've never done this with our kids before. So it's going to be a trip with their cousins. And we're going to attend the procession of Saint Veronica in the old church there, and it's gonna be sort of a festive event with all the native food, and then meeting long lost cousins who probably they've never met, or maybe who I've never met. So it's gonna be different. But when we plan for trips like this, we want to brief them and first read up on the province, read up about the history of the church that was established there. Marami tayong magagandang churches. No? So they like to read naman eh. So if you give it to them, either they Google it or they go to their history books. We're going to have them research about Saint Veronica and her life. Take a look at what this festivity is about and what we're celebrating. So this is in preparation for that. Hindi siya yung reading na forced. It's just really out of curiosity. But we're actually building literacy already. If they want to read off of an iPad and Google it, go ahead. I mean, that's their generation na, di ba? It's reading for learning naman eh, not learning to read. Reading for learning. We want to encourage that. And then after that, the project is to come up with sort of a family journal. Kasi we go home with a lot of photos, but we don't really know the stories behind the photos. No? So we're gonna have them write about it or vlog about it. Ito mahilig sa mga, okay, post kayo, ganyan. And then say this, ganyan. Parang video, photo. And we, especially this pandemic, is saying that there's lots of things that we treasure in the family trips that we had. And sana we took more pictures, sana we took more trips, sana we can keep more memories. So we're thinking this is a good way to do that, to document it, to write about it, and to take, to journalize. Some of them, like Sandra wants to write about what it means to him, journalize.
So journaling is also a very good way to develop home literacy at home. So pwede rin kahit vlogging. No?
Oh, that's communication, di ba? Anything. You're building vocabulary, you're building also personality, and you're using language. You're inviting them to talk about their culture. I think that's a big thing.
Okay. That was a very nice, this is actually a very nice conversation we had with you, Teacher Tasha and Armand. No? So just to summarize, no, the tips that you have given us, the first one on how to build a home literacy is, the first one is to tune into our children, let them express themselves. The second one is to read with them, not to them, not at them. And then the third one is more or less convert their or infuse routines in the home, having gadget time and the reading time in their schedule. And third one is to have journals. So kahit na vlogs,
Yun, pwede.
pwede
Yan,
rin yung
yan.
mga vlogs
Mm-mm.
para ma-encourage ang mga bata to express themselves. So, did we get all the tips right, Teacher Tasha?
Yes. And beyond, if you want to extend beyond summer, why not, di ba? Starts with the parents.
So, thank you very much, Teacher Tasha, for this very interesting conversation. Okay, so we usually
Yeah, before we end, no, we usually end our episode, no, from the Amoris Laetitia, no. So
reading an excerpt from Amoris Laetitia.
Yes, tama.
So, pwede mo bang basahin, B, kung ano yung parting message ni Pope mula kay Pope Francis?
Okay, sige. So the family is the first school of human values, where we learn the wise use of freedom. Certain inclinations develop in childhood and become so deeply rooted that they remain throughout life, either as attractions to our particular value of a natural repugnance to certain ways of acting. Many people think and act in a certain way because they deem it to be right on the basis of what they learn. As if by osmosis from their earliest years, this is how I was taught. That's what I learned to do. In the family, we can also learn to be critical about certain messages sent by the various media.
All right, thank
Okay.
you. That's a wrap for our episode. And we hope na mai-apply ninyo ang mga tips na binigay sa atin ni Teacher Tasha and ni Armand on how to build home literacy this summer and beyond, no? Para kahit na bakasyon, tuloy-tuloy pa rin ang pagbuo natin ng culture and love for learning sa ating mga tahanan. So thank you very much for watching this episode. And if you like this video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and follow this channel, Faith Watch. You may also download Faith Watch app in Google Play Store
So for comments or on how that we can improve or suggestions on what topics na gusto niyo namin i-cover, please type them in the comment box below.
Please know that we read all your comments and see you next month, and let's make our homes bright and cheerful.
So thank you.
Thank you.